Hello and welcome to your Cougar 23 MLS. Starting right up here underneath, you're going to have your battery in here. And right behind it, you're going to have your battery disconnect. So you have a power on switch, power off, and then you can remove cover. So just going to start off with the power on, power off. That cuts off all the power from your battery to the inside of your camper. And then remove cover. Obviously, it's just a safety feature to help remove the cover. Moving just over to the right, you're going to have two switches here for your docking lights. And then a little switch underneath here for this light. Those docking lights control these. So the orange ones, and then this one here right above your hitch plate. Moving into your propane bay, you have a little supply switch here. So when it's to the right, it's taking propane from this tank here, and then when you move it to the left, it's taking propane from the tank on the other side of the camper. You can switch it whenever one dies, and you can tell how full they are by this little switch here. It's kind of hard to see with the flash, but it's red. You can kind of see in the reflection. But red means there's no propane going through it. So you open it up, it'll flick green, and that green means there's a steady flow of propane going through there. So when you turn it on, it'll turn green. When you flip it, after it turns red, it'll turn green again once it's on the other flow of propane. So once again, it'll be green. Once it dies, it turns red. Once it's red, go ahead and flip it to the other side and then start taking propane from the other tank. Storage underneath here, solar prep, and then a light switch inside here. All right, moving to your electronic leveling here. Tap to turn on. You have a bunch of different, it's kind of hard to read, bunch of different settings here. So you can do auto hitch. So when you back into a campground and hit auto level, it'll remember where it was before it started auto leveling. So you click this auto hitch, it'll rise up to where your hitch was beforehand before you clicked auto level. So that's just an extra feature to help with that. Manual level, that's where you go up, front, rear, left, and right. You control it obviously manually. And then auto retract rear, that just raises up the rear jacks. And then auto retract all, so when you go to when you get ready to pull out of your campground, you can click auto retract all, and then that will then retract all of your jacks so you're able to drive away. And then auto hitch once again, and then off. But you have a retract button here, auto level. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just click it and it auto levels itself out until it's even on all sides. And then like I showed you before, in the manual mode, you can do front, rear, left, and right of the camper. Moving on to your water bay here. This is going to be a hose for your outside port here. Outside shower, you have a hot and cold side. You also have a little light here for the inside. Moving on, you are going to have your winterized section here. So to start off, to winterize, these will both be off, and then of course this will be closed. But you want to make sure drain all your water out every hot, cold side of the faucet, shower, outside shower, toilet, you name it. Make sure everything's completely drained, and then go ahead, turn on the water heater bypass, and then the winterized option. You have to make sure this is in the bypass because you do not want any antifreeze inside of your water heater. And then you stick a hose from the winterized portion here into a jug of antifreeze. Go on the inside and turn on your water pump. When you turn on your water pump, go ahead and start turning on the hot side, cold side of faucets, toilets, just reverse everything. And make sure there's a steady flow of pink coming out of every faucet. Moving on to your city water connection. The city water connection is going to be when you get to a campground. This is the campground hose port that you stick inside here, and that'll give you running water while you're hooked up. Your tank flush, I'll get to that in just a moment. I'm going to talk about your tanks here. You have a black tank and a gray tank. Your black tank is going to be your toilet water and solids there. The gray tank is going to be like a sink, shower, etc., that kind of stuff. So going along with this whole thing. I recommend doing the black tank first. Pull it. It'll start to empty out of this port here. Once it's done emptying, go ahead, stick a pressurized hose into here, and then turn that on. That activates a sprinkler or a flush inside of the black tank to help get anything that may have gotten stuck out. And then once that's done, take your hose off, close this, then open up the gray tank. The reason I recommend doing the gray tank last is just because it's the cleanest water out of the two. So it gives that one last little flush before you go ahead and put your hands back on your sewer hose. Solar plug. If you do get a solar panel, you can plug it. Make sure you have the same outlet there. And then right down here, you have your satellite and cable input there. Moving just outside, this is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when you do have the heat on, the excess heat will kick out of here and end up heating this up. So that's why it says hot on all 4 corners, is because it does get extremely hot and will burn you if you do touch it. So if you do have any little kids or someone who may not know, just let them know, do not touch that. Moving back here to your camp power or shore power here, all you do, screw it in like this. Well, I'm reversing it, but once you plug it in there, you do that. You twist and pull out. You can see, actually no you can't because of flash, but the grooves in there line up. Make sure everything is aligned. Once it's in, you twist to the right, and go ahead and screw it right back in. If you do purchase a backup camera, it is backup camera ready. Here's your ladder here, rated for 250 pounds. Moving to your stairs, make sure your door is completely open. Otherwise this piece will actually scratch the edge of your door. Otherwise you just lift up. Pull this, make sure these metal pieces are behind the frame so it doesn't move. And then to adjust the legs, all you do is press in and then raise up or down. To drop this down, go ahead, all you do is grab the little yellow piece, twist, straighten it back out, and then go ahead, let it drop. The reason why you do want to adjust your legs is to make sure that it is flush on both sides, because if you do go to slam your door and this is raised or this is raised, it'll actually scratch the bottom and maybe even bend your door. This is going to be your water heater. So these come with an anode rod. This is an anode rod. This is going to take the beating instead of your tank. So the hard water will eat at this and not your tank. So this will protect it. So eventually this will deteriorate over time. So you are going to have to replace them. But you just insert it. It's a 1 1/16 socket. Once it's tightened down, then you're able to go inside, turn on the hot side of your faucet, and then it'll sputter for a little bit. Once it's done sputtering, go ahead and turn on your water heater. So once again, put that in, make sure it's nice and tight, and then make sure you have a steady flow of water before turning it on. To empty this, because water does get stagnant, all you gotta do is pull this pressure release valve. You'll hear it hiss. Once it's done hissing, go ahead, take your socket, pull this back out. It'll just drain right out of the exit port there. And then to make it go faster, you just keep holding this pressure release and it'll empty. Moving over. This is your freshwater connection. So if you do go to a place with no campground or city water connection, you can go ahead and fill this up beforehand. So if you're going out to the middle of nowhere and you need running water, just gravity fill this. It's just a big tank inside your system. Once it's done filling up, you go out on your campground, turn on your water pump, and that water pump will then take this and push it through your lines. So once again, this is just a big tank. Fill it up if you're going out to the middle of nowhere. And once you're out in the middle of nowhere, go ahead, turn on the water pump, and then that'll take water from this fresh tank. Moving inside of here. So 110 outlets here, satellite cable or satellite antenna there. And this is your in-command system, the outside portion. So I'll show you the inside portion when we get there. You have to unscrew this. Pop that open. So this looks super complicated, but it is also labeled by color here. So fresh tank, you have your lightings, electric slide, power, all that. So that goes color coordinated. And then what you're gonna wanna do here, so this is gonna be your motor systems. So you have off, M1, M2, and it goes all the way up to M5 here. If my camera will function, there we go. So I'm gonna do M1 for example. With that controls like your, like I said, motor functions, so slides, awning, all that. So for motor 1, you can do out. And you can hear the slide extending. And then to bring it back in. You can hear it die out again. So you can do all of your slides through this outside portion here. And then to put it back on, you just do the opposite. Set it on. I'm not gonna be able to do it with one hand. You set it on there. Make sure this portion is hooked up or lined up with this, and then you just screw this in to there. Moving on from that section, this is going to be your other propane tank. Right inside here. And right on top of your awning, you're gonna have a little black tab right in that corner. If this ever does electrically go out, you can peel that little black tab off, insert a tool, and then reel that in or out. Then you're gonna have your outside speakers, along with your awning LED just underneath it. Moving on the inside. So some lights are all controlled by this, the inside in-command system here. So interior lights you can click on, they'll turn on, or if you want to do individual ones, you can do bedroom, ceiling, and then awning light. I'll show you that awning light real quick. And then for some of them, for example, this one right here, it has a little press button right in the middle that you can toggle on and off. There's a lot of switches like that around, like underneath here. Inside there, that's by a switch, but I'll get there in just a minute. All right, let's start with the awnings and slides. So we can open this up. Wardrobe slide. It's gonna be in that back room there. That's fully extended, sofa and refrigerator slide. And then you have your awning, which I don't think I'm gonna be able to reel out all the way. Unless it just misses. I think we're gonna have to cut it short. Yeah, we are. Well, that's that. But a couple main things about your awning. When it is fully extended, this little extra flap will kind of flap down and start to hang, and you'll be able to see the black bar behind it that it's sitting on. And to pitch it for the rain, all you do is go ahead, grab an elbow, either this side or the other side, and push down. It'll bend, and then it'll fold at an angle one way. So I pull down this way, the rain will then drain off of this one side. Then all you gotta do, bring it back up before you reel it in, and then that's pretty much it for your awning. All right, so the main thing about your in-command system is this has everything you need on here. So it talks about your fresh tank reader, black tank reader, gray tank reader, and it has your voltage for your battery reader. You can turn on your water pump, so that's for your fresh tank or winterizing. Turn that on. Water heater, once your anode rod is in and you have a steady flow of water, you can go ahead and turn that on. Then into your lights as well. HVAC, you can control all of your AC through the modes here. Mode, you have fan, you can choose low, high, set your temperature, front AC, rear AC, and then you can do cool, so auto, and then you can also choose the heat or temperature there. And then you can also schedule it, start, stop, and then time. And then I already went over lights, sides and awnings, and settings. You can do Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, you can set up a new passcode. You can do all of that through here. For Bluetooth, you can connect this to your phone, so you can do it wherever and whenever you need to. But otherwise, that is your in-command system. Moving over to your sink. Your keys. Purple are going to be for your main doors. Gray is going to be for your baggage doors. And the silver one is going to be for example, it'll be for the smaller things like your fresh tank. To open that up. Moving on to your microwave here. Open, choose a time, start it. You can light switch, fan here. And then for your oven and stove here, turn on the lights. All it is a press, turn, the gas will then release, and you can spark it to the right, and then your oven or your stove top will ignite. For your oven, you press, turn to the little pilot symbol, and you can sit there and spark, and then eventually, it'll take a little while, but right in the very back portion there, like right back there, a tiny flame will appear. Once you see that tiny flame, then you can go ahead and adjust the temperature needed. So a couple things about this. I do recommend lighting all three burners just to have the gas getting purged through the system, so it makes it easier to light this. Your oven is going to be pretty hard to light at first, like I said, so get the gas purged through the system. It's not going to take, the first try is going to take a few tries, a few sparks to get it going, so do not be discouraged. And you always want to turn to the right. There's even arrows on it to turn to the right. So if you turn to the left, it will snap off if you turn hard enough. For your refrigerator, you hold to turn on. It was already on, so I just tapped it to wake up. You can go down to 1. 5 is going to be the coldest temperature you can get. This is going to be your toggle for your refrigerator, and this will be it for your freezer. And then for the night portion, it just makes your fridge quieter overall. That's about how long it takes. For these lights here, on, dimmer switch. You're gonna have your storage in here, cup holders, and then, let's see here, to the left you can pull, legs kick out, and then also over here you can do heat and massaging, and then lights and stuff like that, which are gonna be underneath. You can see them kind of flashing. Otherwise, you just kind of sit up, kick your feet in. Same goes for this one, but on the opposite side. Just pull, kicks up, massaging, heat. Oh, it's opposite on this side. Massage here, heat here, and then lights underneath. Moving over to your carbon monoxide detector. This little green light indicates that it is on. This is always going to be running as a safety feature, even if you turn your battery disconnect off. So even with that battery disconnect off, this will always run, so it will kill that battery. So what I do recommend doing is if you're gonna leave your camper for about 3 to 4 days, just go ahead and take the negative end off of your battery, because then this will finally die. For your breakers and fuses, this is all going to be labeled just like a house would be. And for the fuses, I do recommend bringing some extras. You can pick them up at any auto parts stores like an AutoZone or whatnot, but that's just a personal recommendation. light switch here. It's not like an actual switch, it's just like a retracting one. You're gonna have your bathroom in here. Starting down here, this is gonna be a foot flush. All I do is push down the foot to flush. You are going to need a toilet solution along with RV grade toilet paper. The toilet paper will help break down easier so it won't clog your lines, and then the solution will help break down solids and smells. For your sliding shower, you are going to have to pay attention to this because it will pop off pretty easy. So if you set it down, you have to push really hard and make sure you hear it click and feel it go down. Because some people just set it down like that, they call it fine, but you need to actually clip it down for it to stay still. Light here. And then for the fan, all you do is twist here and then turn on the fan with that button there. And then moving into your bedroom, starting off to the right here, you are going to have a TV mount bracket location here, 110 outlets, and then your cable and satellite here. And then for your bed, if you just grab underneath, there should be like a little wood part that you can lift up, which then you can access all of your storage under there. And then you just push down to close. Make sure your bed is completely flush with the wall, because when it does close, sometimes it does kind of slide. And that will include your orientation. Enjoy.